to come up with an excuse to drink.
Oh, that's good.
Hi, guys.
Good intro. Welcome.
I agree.
To Hump Day Hangouts episode 277, where we talk about maybe it's time we have a drink. It's almost 5 o'clock here. So no, we'll maybe do that on one coming up, but welcome everybody. We're going to say hi real quick. We got a couple short announcements and then we're going to get into it. We've got a long list of questions, and just for those of us joining us for the first time, I want to let you know too, we really appreciate your questions. If you can, keep it to one question. We understand some are multi-part, but today we have like somebody put in like 6 long questions that we're not going to be able to get to all of those, but we will try to answer what we can. We just want to make sure we give everyone a chance. So we'll touch on that again, but again, we appreciate your questions. Please come and ask, but just be respectful of everyone else and make sure to make room for them. So with that said, Bradley, how you doing today?
Good, man. If we wouldn't have been talking about beer, I wouldn't be so thirsty right now.
Yeah, that's good. So yeah, actually this is good. I'll share with everyone since it's topical. We were talking about it, everything on everyone's mind is coronavirus. And then hearing the news reports that Corona, the beer is taking a sales hit, it's just kind of one of those like mind-blowing things that's actually a result of this. So
yeah. How stupid can people be? They're concerned about drinking Corona beer because they've associated it with the coronavirus, and poor Corona. That's funny.
Man. Well, let's see. Next on here, Hernan, how you doing, man? It's coming up on winter time for you, or I guess it's fall now.
Yeah, it's actually fall. We're getting into fall, but today is still the past 2 days being hot as hell outside. So it's been good, man. Everything's good. I'm excited to be here.
Nice. Marco, how about you? How's the weather?
Groundhog Day, you see it. I ain't got to tell you about it. You see it. This is what it's like every day, every morning, 365. Sometimes it rains, sometimes it doesn't, but it's always warm in Costa Rica. So stay away. I don't want you here. I don't want your Corona. The only Corona I want is in my fridge. And I actually do have a couple of Corona in the fridge.
Careful now.
Yeah. No, it's antibodies I'm building up.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I just keep the real high proof stuff so I can clean or get drunk. So
that's what you call an ambiguated Corona entity.
Oh man, Chris, how you doing, man?
Yeah, doing good. Still cold here. I mean, it's not freezing, but you still need a pullover. Yeah, actually it on colder weathers, really hot summers always give me brain fog and I'm really unproductive. So not sure what to say to the others here, but
man, that's good. You're where you should be then. So man, I do get the same way when it gets hot, just yeah, man, that is not my jam. So well, cool guys. Real quick before we get into it, just wanted to say, if you're joining us here for the first time, that's awesome. We really do appreciate it. Please ask your questions. You can always catch the replay on YouTube, which you can head over and subscribe. You can find the link down below, or just go to youtube.com/c/semantic mastery and subscribe. Stay up to date because we understand sometimes you can't make it live, but all of these are recorded and go up on our YouTube channel. Also, if you're an agency owner or a consultant like us and you want to get more clients, you want to grow your revenue, and you'd like to scale your team, then you should be already in 2x your agency or double your agency. You can go over and check that out at 2xyouragency.com. And we know a lot of people find us and they're looking for and getting great advice for SEO. But if you want the step-by-step battle plan, then guess where you should go? battleplan.semanticmastery.com. It's step-by-step processes for everything from new websites, aged websites, YouTube channels, so much more. So head over, grab that, and you can find the links off to the right if you're joining us live. And real quick, for anyone who is live, if you guys can do some typing for me. I saw that somebody on there said that there were some issues with redirects and using the chat on the Hump Day Hangouts page. If you guys can let me know if it's working okay for you or not, we'd love some more feedback. So I want to make sure that that's working smoothly for everyone.
Our chat box is not working again or something?
Just had some issues. Somebody was saying they were having issues with redirects, but it was working in incognito. So I just want to see if it's one person or many.
Okay.
And then last but not least, we've got some information coming out about some really cool updates with mgyb.co, where you can get done-for-you services for syndication networks, ROS stacks, and of course, SEO Shield, which we had a killer deal going on last week. A lot of people took advantage of that, but there's some new great stuff coming out with that. And I believe, Marco, even with the link shortener, there's some potential updates coming, right?
Yeah, we're trying to, because someone mentioned it last week. about having a custom domain. Although, yeah, people use Bitly, people use Rebrandly, people use all kinds of t.co in Twitter. They use all kinds of shorteners, and it doesn't really matter. And in fact, because of the strength of our shortener, it actually enhances everything that you're doing to the point that the shortened link, right, whatever it's shortened with, it can rank for that keyword and take up more real estate in SERPs, which is actually what you're looking for. You want people to cover as much of the real estate as possible, so that you have a greater chance of people clicking on whatever project it is that you're doing. And before we get to questions, I'd like to make a quick announcement, because anyone who donated to the charity got access to all of the webinars and everything. If you haven't, then please send an email. Right, you guys. I'll post it all on the page, and I'll be doing an update webinar probably in May, because I promised one, because I showed the Land Solutions Network and how it's going, and all of a sudden it just blew up and started appearing on the first page like everywhere, getting national attention. Right, we're getting form fills from all over the US. So it's pretty interesting what's happening. And without really all of the power that I thought it would be necessary to get this to where it is right now, where on the next push, I'm expecting it to land top 3 in, for the top level category, which is the top market level that everyone wants, because I'll tell everyone, sell land fast and then state. Bradley just showed me this morning where it's appearing in Virginia.
Yeah, you son of a bitch.
It's not intentional. I can't control the monster, man. Once the Kraken is
I'm
unleashed,
only teasing anyways, because
it's done, guys. I can't help it.
Yeah, well, I got the knowledge panel now, which is pretty impressive considering I really haven't done a lot of SEO work. That has been just through exactly what we've been teaching, which is
that's it.
Entity. Like, guys, I haven't even been doing link building to the Alpha Land Realty project. I did one link building package when I first got the drive stack delivered damn near a year ago now. Well, at least 9 months ago. And I did one link building package. That's it. Other than that, I've just published some press releases for properties that I have for sale. Haven't done any other sort of SEO work whatsoever. And I've got the knowledge panel now for Sell Land Fast Virginia, which means, my brand has been fully associated with that keyword, which is super powerful. And again, guys, that's doing nothing other than what we teach about solidifying, validating the entity, period.
Entity-based, worryless SEO is what this is all about. This is what my update in May or June. I don't know when, because I want to do press release stack, and then I want to do a link building run. Then I want to do an embed stack and a link building run, and see what happens, what kind of madness that gets us into. So it's coming, guys. If you donated, you'll have all of the replays are available, and you will have access to the upcoming webinar. And if you haven't donated, there's always a good time. There's no better time like now to go and donate and get access to everything, and including the upcoming update webinar. So there you go.
Awesome. 2 more quick things. Bradley, I got a question for you. And then from there we can go into questions, but I wanted to remind everybody, we still got early access pricing for POFU Live tickets. I believe we have 19 spots, maybe 20 remaining, but the prices are going to go up before too long. So grab those if you want to come. If you want to find out more about that, you can find out at pofulive.com, but it's basically finding out about all of this stuff, but doing it over 2 to 3 days. Highly recommend you grab the VIP ticket. We've priced it to make it easily accessible from the main ticket. It's not a big bump in price. We just want to cover the cost, get you together with everyone else a day early, have a lot of fun. Last year we went go-karting. That was a blast, had a beer, some food, and just get together and, in a kind of relaxed environment, have some fun. You can get to know everyone and then go into the event. And it's a small group. You already kind of know each other. You're familiar with each other, and go in there and really get the most out of that. So like I said, check it out at POFU Live if you'd like to join us. It's going to be last weekend in September in Boston. We'll have a bunch more details coming, but go grab that, pofulive.com. And then Bradley, you just updated the Double Your Agency training, right? I know we're going long here. Can you, in like 60 seconds, just real quick, tell people what the training was about?
Yeah, well, this week it was about embeds and link building, which is how to power up the entity, the semantic mastery way, which is beautiful. And so what's really important here is that like I just mentioned about how all I've done for Alpha Land Realty is entity-based SEO, and I haven't even been doing the external stuff because I drive most traffic to it via direct mail and Google ads and also organic rankings now. So because I'm doing well, I haven't really done a lot of SEO to it, but it's ranking. And what I just covered today was we're in the 2x your results section of the double your agency training. So there's 3 total parts: 2x your pipeline, 2x your results, which that's the section we're in now. And then it's 2x your business, which is what we're going to be going to in 2 weeks. And so the first 3 topics covered in this module, which is the 2x your results, was number 1, the SEO shield. That was week 1, which is the foundation of everything we do, guys. Like it's absolutely the foundation. No, and that's how you solidify the entity, right? Number 2 is content marketing, which is how you start to build relevancy, both topical and or location relevancy if it's for a local project. So content marketing is how you start to fuel up the entity, like power it up with content and build the relevancy. And number 3 is external link building and embeds, like what we do to the SEO shield to power it up. And I'm telling you guys, it's a 3-step process. There's a lot of components to those 3 steps, but it's a 3-step process. And the 4th step being pushing relevant traffic into the entity, which kind of is like throwing jet fuel on the fire. And we're going to talk about that next week. And my whole point is I've got several projects I'm working on right now that all I'm doing, it's paint by numbers, guys, exactly what we're teaching in 2x your agency for the 2x your results part of it. SEO shield, content marketing, power up the entity, run relevant traffic into it. You'll get results, period. End of story. It's paint by numbers. There is no competition out there that you cannot overcome with this method, period. End of story. Marky, you want to comment on that?
Dude, I don't even take into account the competition. I don't look at it. I don't bother. I don't care. If we can go up against Amazon, then we can go up against anyone. And so I just don't bother anymore. I do my thing. I let them worry about me, because this guy, the top guy in nationwide for this, is in trouble and he doesn't even know it, because it's coming. It's going to hit you. You're already seeing it with really that last power push that we usually do to get it in there. It hasn't even been done. So it's just going to be mad simple. And simple doesn't mean easy, right? We try to make it simple so that people can follow everything and get the same results that we get. It's not easy. It's a lot of work. There's a lot of things involved. We have a whole team that works behind all this to accomplish all of the different steps. But once it's done, it's just keeping it up and doing your link building cycles the way that you're supposed to, your press releases, and it's done. It's a done deal. It's crazy how simple this is, and how people, despite the proof that we can provide, because I'm sharing results in our groups, despite that, they'll still say, oh, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Don't believe your lying eyes, because it's an optical illusion. The results that you're seeing in SERPs, that's not true either, right? So we'll just leave it at that. Let's go to the questions, guys. It doesn't work. If you want to see how it doesn't work, come and get our stuff, man. That's simple.
Anything else, guys, or can we get into questions?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right, there we go. Tell me when you see my screen.
Got it.
Okay.
We can see it.
Yeah, so that's what I was talking about. If you look at Sell Land Fast Virginia, it's popping knowledge panel now, #1 position, and you can see my brand is associated with that search term. It's even showing up in suggest and related searches. Guys, that's what you want. You know how powerful that is when a prospect starts typing a generic keyword into search and a brand appears, how powerful that is. So it's incredible how much traffic I get from that. It's insane. And guys, I haven't done anything other than what we teach. I have an SEO shield. I did 1 batch of link building to it. And ever since then, all I've done is run relevant traffic into the entity. And it just took time. It's just a matter of time. And I'm already popping for knowledge panel now. Push this competitor out who had been #1 for months. So it's impressive, guys. I can't thank Marco and my team enough for making it so easy to repeat and get results. It's just, it's not fair. It's just not fair.
It isn't.
All right, so let's get into questions. Dustin, hey guys, how do you, Yeah, okay, that's it. Hey guys, how do you make a domain mapping with AWS, Amazon Cloud, so my website gets hosted on Amazon? Just go to YouTube. You can do it with Cloudflare. That's probably the easiest way to do it, is through Cloudflare. But just go to YouTube and search, not directly on our channel, because I don't think we have any public training about that. And the training that I did on that was probably 3 years old now, and it's likely that it may, I don't know, it might not have changed, but just go to YouTube and search domain mapping cloud Amazon HTML site or something like that, right? And just play around. You'll find somebody that's good with a tutorial for that. It's fairly simple. I use Cloudflare to do that, but you can also use Amazon Route 53, which is their DNS service inside of AWS console. You can do it with Amazon Route 53. And what's interesting about Amazon Route 53, by the way, is when you set it up that way, it gives you what's called a dynamic IP. The IP for your site will change. If you're hosting in Amazon, but if you're just pointing, how do you make a domain mapping so my website gets hosted on Amazon? Yeah, if you're using Amazon to host, then it's a dynamic IP, it's interesting because the IP changes. Years ago, we had talked about building PBNs, well, kind of like PBNs, but essentially buffer sites using Amazon HTML pages hosted in S3 buckets, but using Amazon Route 53 to set up subdomains for a particular domain. And you have just multiple, like essentially we create a bunch of pages as subdomains, but they would each have dynamic IPs. So it wouldn't look like all of them coming from, like, links from the same domain would be coming from different IPs, if that makes sense, because they were different subdomains, and you'd go check them in an IP checker. And if you refresh the screen, it wouldn't always be a new IP, but often when you would refresh the screen, it would be a whole new IP. And it was a great way when we were still using a lot of PBN stuff to get IP diversity into your link building. But again, I don't do that anymore. We don't need to. The SEO shield is all we need to do, and Indeti is link building, and it works. But yeah, just go check YouTube. You'll find somebody to teach you how to do that. It's not that difficult. JP says, I don't understand. Okay, this is a good question. I don't understand the use of ranking websites for local. I run Google Ads with GMB location extension activated in Google Ads for local plumbing clients. I ranked multiple websites organically #1 and GMB's organically #1. I would guess that about 5% of traffic comes from my #1 organically ranked websites and about 15 from GMB organic rankings, and the rest come from ads and GMB linked to the ads. You can target so much more keywords with ads than organic. You will never show in the 3-pack for the variety of keywords you can target in Google Ads. Well, that's not necessarily true. You can, depending on how much work you put into it. You can rank for a variety of keywords, and you can also rank for outside of your immediate area, like you can with ads. I know what you mean. When you run a location extension with the GMB, that's how you can beat that proximity filter right away, right? There's no question. If you have the top quality score or a high quality score that trumps your competitors, then that's how you will typically get in the #1 position in the ads, the #1 ads position in the maps 3-pack or in the expanded maps. And there's no question that that's a great way to expand your service area very quickly and overcome that proximity issue. However, we do know a way of overcoming that proximity issue organically, which is the local GMB Pro method. So it's not that you can't do it. It's just, it does require a lot more work than just paying Google to get placed there. That said, you said that you would guess that about 5% of your traffic comes from organic rankings and 15% from organic or maps rankings. But you said that you would guess. I would recommend, looking at your analytics, deep diving into that to see if that is the case. And it may be for your particular industry, plumbing. I don't do plumbing SEO. I have in the past, but most of the industries that I work in, I've proven time and again that maps rankings produce the most leads for most of the services that I provide, most of the industries that I provide services to. And organic rankings have recently, for whatever reason, started to produce more than they have in the past. And I don't know why that is, because they're pushed even further down on the page now than ever. But for some reason or another, I'm getting more traffic through organic rankings than I have in recent years. And I'm not sure exactly why that is, except for maybe the fact that the maps filter has, you know, the proximity issue has reduced the maps footprint, and the organic rankings are are kind of filling in where the maps used to produce results. Now it's organic. So maybe that's why, but I think it varies by industry. You know, because there are a lot of statistics out there that state, and again, I'm sure it's going to vary by industry, but there are a lot of statistics out there that state that organic rankings get, and organic listings, period, maps or organic, get so much more click-throughs than paid. And so just, and I'm going to ask Marco and others to comment on this in a minute, but I just pulled this up for organic versus paid search statistics on highervisibility.com. And this is stats for 2020. And it talks about right here, 70, and this doesn't mention local specifically, but it says 70 to 80% of all searchers ignore paid ads and focus only on organic results. So again, I'm not disputing what you say is the result of your marketing campaigns, but what I'm telling you is it probably varies by industry. And through my own projects, I've proven over and over and over again through data that we generate far many more leads for the like tree service industry, for example, at far less cost than we do using, we generate far more leads using SEO and Maps SEO at far less cost than we do using Google Ads. So again, I'm not trying to dispute what you're saying. I'm just saying that I think it's going to vary depending on industry and project. Comments, guys?
I absolutely agree that it's going to depend entirely, not only on the industry and how people are used to seeing whatever it is, the results that they're seeing. It also depends on how much effort you put into your SEO and your maps versus how much effort you put into ads. So if you think that SEO and ads aren't going to bring you the results because you're guessing that 20% is coming from that, and all of your efforts actually, you know, the 80-20 rule, if 80% of your effort goes into ads, then that's going to show in that percentage. I've seen it differently also. And we have that, especially in the plumbing niche, we have the DC plumber example, where once we triggered that map pack, the phone went nuts. And it's map pack, and it's also organic. He gets organic traffic. You have to remember the press releases also bring traffic. Tier 1 will branded will also bring some traffic, right? Your social media and how much effort goes in there. So the idea here is that you don't focus all of your energies on one source of traffic, because one change can bring that 80% to half, and then what do you do? But if you focus, like you mentioned in other Hump Day Hangouts, in holistic marketing, where you take an overall approach to what this is, and you're actually driving several traffic funnels, not concentrating all your efforts in one, I think you're going to see much better results. I'm also seeing it in the lawyer niche, by the way. I'm working in California and in New York with attorneys in those two places, and it's man, the map pack in those, and whatever, it's whatever we target, right? Because we could target in the GMB any keywords that we want, or any keyword set, or we can silo it. It's what we do, and it's how we link it together. It's how we get those keywords to pop up, and you get into the thousands of keywords that way, and not only in GMB and in Insights, but it starts showing up in Search Console on what you're getting impressions for, and the average position where you're getting impressions. Where if you improve the average position, you start seeing crazy CTR. And so all of these factors combined are what matter. He is seeing his numbers from his efforts, which is fine. If that's the way you want to do it, if you think that you can get the most bang for your buck out of ads, then by all means. Me, I'd rather not go up against, for example, Amazon and pay for ads against Amazon. I'd rather hit them organically and do my damage there, because I'm seeing crazy results from that case study. Also seeing results from the Land Solutions Network, right? The Sell Land Fast case study. So all of these things that we do, what we give you is like you're giving us data from what your efforts are and from what you're getting. So we give you data from what we see. And not to say the one or the other is wrong, it's just different approaches to the different niches that we're after.
Yeah, just one more comment on that. Like, for example, why I like SEO better than ads, and I run ads, guys, for a lot of stuff. My Alpha Land Realty, for example, I generate a ton of traffic through ads, and I do it for clients too. But my point is kind of like what Marcus said. Like, let's say you got $1,000 a month budget, period, for any type of marketing, whether it's Google Ads or SEO or whatever. If you're running $1,000 a month in Google Ads and Google Ads only, that's great. You can target, you know, whatever your keywords are and your locations. But if you want to expand into new areas and target new keywords, you still only have that $1,000 a month budget. So you've got to rob Peter to pay Paul. In other words, you've got to pull money from existing campaigns or ad groups, whatever you've got running, to push into different areas. If that's what you're limited to, is, let's just say that that's, you know, again, hypothetically, you're limited to that $1,000 a month. Whereas with SEO, the $1,000 a month can go towards content marketing and link building and such, and target different keywords, different locations. And once the content is there and it's producing, you're ranking and you're producing leads from that content, you can redirect those funds to the next location, the next set of keywords, because that's already producing. And it's just a matter of maintaining it then through our methods. You can maintain organic rankings through just link building and such to the SEO shield and the entity. So my point is, you can take that same $1,000 and continue to expand keywords and locations, area, right? So service area, and continually grow with that same $1,000 per month. Whereas with Google Ads, if you're at full capacity for your budget, you can't grow into other areas without spending more money or taking money from an already producing campaign to redirect to those areas. If that makes sense. So that's what I like. You know, when you stop paying Google, you stop generating leads. That's the problem with Google Ads. I mean, again, guys, I love Google Ads. I love them, but I don't, you know, I still always recommend to clients that we start an SEO campaign and that we only use Google Ads to supplement until the SEO is producing the results that we desire. Okay. Anyways, good question. Or good.
Yeah, great question.
This is a very long, like, it looks like it's only 6 questions, but if you get into it, there's like 8 questions in this one alone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the first 3 numbers here, and then the rest of them will have to be, you know, come join the mastermind. If you want consultation, that's what it's for. Like, you know, you can ask these kind of questions in mastermind, but this is a lot of damn questions. We're not going to have time for all of these unless we get through everything else, and then we'll come back. We appreciate you coming and asking questions, though. I do appreciate that. So should I include the author in each post I publish? You can. It's not necessary. My blogger, I tend to have her do it because she's a prolific blogger who's been blogging for years for me now. So she's got quite the author status, but, you know, that's not necessary. It's just a matter of preference. Which page in the silo structure should get the most backlinks? Well, if you understand silo structure, it doesn't matter which page, because if you have your interlinking done correctly, your internal linking throughout the silo, that anywhere you point links to within that silo is going to benefit the entire silo, right? That's, if you understand silo structure and how to interlink correctly, properly within a silo, then there's no one page that should get any more links than any other, because it doesn't matter. You could take the last post in the silo and inject all your links there, and it's going to flow up through every post in the silo and up to the top level page. So, you know, it really doesn't, it's not important as to which page gets the most links if you've got your silo structure and internal linking done properly. Okay?
I can tell him which page gets the most links. None of the pages on your website should get links. None, absolutely none. You should not be link building to your money site. That's what your SEO shield is for. Now, through your SEO shield, you can push into each one of your market level categories, or you can push into the supporting posts for your categories, whichever way you decide to do it, and you can cycle that. What I call a link building cycle, which is you change it up. Sometimes you go into the post, sometimes into the category. Maybe you'll go somewhere else where you know, tier 1 and push through there. But everything should take place through that DriveStack and Gsite, and maybe even tier 1 branded, because they can handle it. But if you get caught link building to your website, a lot of bad things can happen. We stay away from the top level domain for that reason, because we don't want to trigger any of those nasty little things that can pop up and get you and kill everything that you've been trying to do. So none. The answer to that is none. None on your website. Learn how to cycle your link building through the SEO shield, how to add depth and breadth to that Drystack and Gsite, and you're going to get much better results with protection to boot.
Correct. So the next question was, what do you think of this dummy silo for niche site? 1,000 posts, for example, in the site, all under the main domain, which is also the homepage, no categories, no tags, and no subfolders. And the homepage links to all of the posts up to the last 1,000 posts. Is this good for a silo? No, for a couple of reasons. The number one is, well, if you were linking from the homepage to all 1,000 posts, first of all, that would be one hell of a menu or one hell of a link list. It would be kind of ugly for like user experience and everything. And number two is if any one of those individual posts link back to the homepage, which is really what you'd want to do anyways, that would be a reciprocal link. It would kill the value of that silo. So my point is, I wouldn't do that. If I were gonna do it, first of all, having a one category website is fine. That's perfectly fine. But you don't want to link to all of the posts on the homepage. That would be ridiculous in my opinion. And I think it would be hard for users to navigate. And I don't think it would be any good for SEO. So I think you're better off adding some sort of structure to the site, navigation structure, if you were going to do something like that, that would be logical. But you would also want to make sure, again, you need to understand how to properly interlink within a silo, which we cover in the mastermind. Will also be covered in Heavy Hitters Club, I'm sure, or Heavy Hitter Club, excuse me, when that's available, which will be soon. But we can't share our exact silo linking technique here on a free Hump Day Hangout. I apologize for that. You want to comment on that, anybody, before I move on?
No, I think that was fine.
Okay. Yeah, there's good ways to do that. If you were going to you can have a site all around one particular topic, but typically, or one category, but typically, even with that one category, you're talking about 1,000 posts. You can probably segment those posts into subcategories, right? To make it a more easier to navigate and a more logical setup than to have 1,000 posts all in one very, I don't know how you, I'm sure it can be done, but I'm just saying, I think you'd be better off even having, subcategories and such to make it more logical. I think you'd be better off that way. We'll come back to some of these other ones if we have time. Yeah, okay. Hi, everyone. I'm using RSS syndication on my website, but my WordPress page has been disabled twice. So I think this is because my posting frequency is higher than normal blogs. That can happen. So my question is, how long should I wait after the new WordPress page is published? Well, it's the first thing you need to do is make sure that you publish relevant content to the WordPress site, WordPress.com site when you get it. And then let that sit for a week or two. And the way that we build it our builders build them at the store is we find relevant content on another WordPress.com blog and post that. We republish that with attribution. So we link over to the original source because now that's an internal link for WordPress.com. Does that make sense? That's why we do that. And it's a relevant article, relevant to whatever the theme of that blog is now, right? And then we always recommend that you wait and give it 7 days, 5 to 7 days, roughly, before you start automating posts through RSS syndication. But then if you're when you start syndicating posts, if it's a high volume frequency of publishing, then we always recommend that you start slow and you ramp up, which means if you publish, let's say you publish, 5 blog posts per day. I don't know what your frequency is, but we'll just use that as an example. You don't want to come out of the gate publishing 5 blog posts a day to a new WordPress site, even if it's been, kind of seasoned for a week or so. What you want to do is maybe start doing 1 post per day for a week or 2. And then maybe you can increase it to 2 posts per day, and then 3, and then 4. And you do that slowly, you build up so that WordPress kind of, WordPress.com or whatever other blog sites kind of gain an understanding of the business and of the site, and it allows it to, it tends to get terminated a lot less. We've had projects I've had projects that I've worked on that had a high volume of publishing, but as long as you gradually increase to whatever your normal posting frequency is, it typically will remain. But that said, it also depends on the type of post that you're publishing. If the posts are spammy, if they contain a shit ton of outbound links, things like that, then it's likely that they're going to get terminated anyways. So you just got to be careful. It's got to be decent content, which is why all my VAs for the projects I work on, like we just use curated content because it's very nicely done content. We're linking to multiple sources, not just our own. So for example, not all links on the blog just come back to the money site. We use curated content. So every post has links to relevant third-party content sources. And I think that makes a big difference too, which is why I have such a low suspension rate or termination rate for syndication network properties. So it's a matter of quality of content, the number of outbound links, where those outbound links are pointing to, and also the frequency of publishing. You can gradually build it up over time. Okay, it's a good question though. How long does it take to attain maturity? I can't tell you that because I don't know. Like I said, if you just gradually increase, you should be okay. But your content does matter. Content matters, guys. You know, it does. So Olaf says, a question about duplicate content. Do I use the same content in the Gsacks as in the Gsite as on the money site? So if I iframe the money site onto the Gsite, the content appears twice and there is no problem with that. My question, well, first of all, I'd love to get Marco's opinion on this. Here's the thing. On the Gsite, why even put content on the pages if you're going to embed the money site page? It will read the content of the embed, and that will become the content of the page. It'll even show up in the meta description in search. So for my projects, I don't put content on the pages. You guys have to excuse me. I've got a call coming in. I don't know how to silence that right now. Stand by. Okay. So yeah, so I don't actually put content on the pages. Well, sometimes I do. It just depends on the page. But for the most part, if I'm embedding pages, it's going to be embedded pages, and that's it. The content is produced through the embed. You want to comment on that, Marco?
Yeah, I don't understand the iframe question. If you understand iframes, then what you're doing through the iframe is you're displaying your home page on the Gsite. That's all that is. I mean, so it's not a copy. And let's get away from duplicate content. There's no such thing as duplicate content. It's bullshit. It's a myth. It doesn't happen. If there were such a thing as duplicate content, we said it time and again. Press releases they'd be out of work. They wouldn't work. It just doesn't make sense to say that there is a duplicate content. There could be a duplicate content penalty and all these other things that people say, which we have shown time and again are not true. We showed it in the mastermind, as a matter of fact, on Ask Marco Anything webinar. We showed it. There is no such thing as duplicate content. And so with that in mind, you can do whatever you want on that Gsite because it's going to be relevant. It's relevant to whatever it is that you're doing. We use other people's content. Sometimes we use our own content. Sometimes it's just iframes. It just depends on what it is that we're trying to do.
Yeah. Okay, he says also because the Gsite takes the schema from the iframe site, it now has the featured image of the iframed site in mobile search, even though that image does not appear anywhere on the Gsite. I thought you might like to know that, and if you already do, maybe know a way to undo this. I don't know why you would want to undo it. Look, I don't care what, if something like that happens, because my point is the search results are just more of my entity. Does that make sense? So like, and I've had, people say, well, my client doesn't like the Gsite appearing in the search results for, their keyword or for their brand name. Why? Would you rather a competitor's website be ranked there? And, we make them look really good. They'll convert. I mean, so anyway, my point is, as long as I'm taking up real estate on the first page with my entity assets, I don't care, because it's pushing a competitor off the page, period. End of story. And if every one of those links open up to a branded entity asset that's going to lead back to my company or the company that I'm promoting for the project, then I really don't care if something like that happens, or which properties appear in search. For example, paper.li, which is one of the network properties in our syndication networks, that for whatever reason is ranking super well right now for like brand searches. And when you click on it, if you've got your RSS feeding into the newspaper.li newspaper or whatever they call it, then, it's branded content on the paper.li profile. So like, it's not something I would typically push intentionally to the first page, but in a lot of projects I have right now, for whatever reason, paper.li is ranking for the brand search. So I'm not going to go disable it or delete it because my client doesn't want paper.li showing up for their brand search. I just tell them, hey, look, that could have been your competitor. You know what I mean? So my point is, I don't know why that's an issue. I appreciate you bringing that to my attention, but honestly, it doesn't bother me to have that happen. Anybody want to comment on that?
No. I mean, it doesn't make sense not to want to take up as much real estate as possible. Take it up. Take up as much as you can. If you're doing it through iframes, I mean, that's fine. It'll go to the client eventually. And if not, then it's reinforcing the entity. Any clicks on that image just reinforces the entity.
Yeah, that's right. It's activity into the entity. That's correct. All right. Lauren says, I want to order an SEO shield. Can you explain how it works? I'm having a hard time understanding how it protects my website. Yeah, we did the SEO shield explain. Just go to our YouTube channel. In fact, I'll walk you through it. Let's go to youtube.com/semantic mastery. Okay. Go to our YouTube channel. See that search icon? That's the search this channel feature. So we're going to click that there and we're going to type in SEO shield. And right here is the holiday special, Hump Day Hangout, episode 267, where we went into the SEO shield right there. So just go use our channel search feature. As I just showed you, search for SEO shield, the holiday special Hump Day Hangout SEO shield right there, 14 minutes, 36 seconds long, all about specifically what the SEO shield is and how it works. Okay. Good question though. Thank you. BB says the chat works, but if you don't save the page link and bookmarks, it's hard to find the chat page. Okay, guys, the chat page has been the same redirect URL since we started, which was in over 5 years ago. Semanticmastery.com/HD questions stands for Hump Day questions. Bookmark it, remember it, commit it to memory, right? Semanticmastery.com/HD questions. It's been the same URL for many, many years. It redirects to this page right here, but just remember HD questions, Hump Day questions, period. Semanticmastery.com/HD questions. It will always take you to this page right here. Okay. You don't have to sign up and opt in every time. If you are, then I'm sorry, because that sucks. All right, next. Are there any upsells on your 2X Your Agency course? I plan to buy all the upsells, but I wanted to know if there are any before I buy. Yes, there are upsells. There are one-time offers and that kind of stuff. We wouldn't be we wouldn't be worth our weight. We wouldn't be worth anything if we didn't have upsells, man. This is internet marketing, guys. So anyways, all right, we do have some time left, so we can go back to some of those other questions. Anybody have anything they want to comment on before we do?
Oh yeah, I wrote the comment on there, but basically what you said, I was like, yeah, there's some awesome deals. I was like, they truly are one-time offers. We want to make something cool. It's like Bradley said, wouldn't be worth our weight if we didn't put a good offer in front of you. But these are really, 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 really good ones. So, anyways, that's all I'll say.
Yeah, because a lot of the stuff that's offered throughout the funnel essentially is also, we talk a lot about them in the 2X Your Agency course, guys, because they're all, here's the thing. And throughout the 2X Your Agency course, we point you to, it's conceptual training. In other words, it's high level training to point you in the right direction to do these things. If you want to learn more about the specific methods of how they work, go buy this training course, point you to the correct training course. But the whole point of Double Your Agency, guys, is not to encumber you or bog you down with more training and more shit you have to learn and then either do yourself, God forbid, or hire somebody out and train them to do it for you, which is a better option. But if you want to double your agency, it's go buy done for you services that are already, so the team is in place, the training, the management, the quality control, all of that is in place. And then you just mark it up and sell, right? And manage projects for your clients. That's how you double your agency, not by getting bogged down in training. And I'm not telling you don't go buy our training. That would be stupid. But I'm saying that if you really want to grow your agency, I would focus, and I recommend focusing on using third-party fulfillment providers like MGYB to do the work. And you need to focus on prospecting and sales and learning how to manage projects, essentially, project management. Because then that's how you can scale your agency without getting bogged down in the daily grind and having to do all the work. And that's so that's what we do. In 2X Your Agency, we talk about concepts at a high level. There's a lot of actionable plans, but we tell you, if you want to learn more about the specific tactic or method, go buy the training course. But the better option is just go buy it done for you at MGYB and move on to the next module so that you can grow your business. Does that make sense? Any comments on that, guys?
Yeah, man, because, all right. So it's what we do. If you guys want to know how I got results for the Land Solutions Network case study, I went and I got the products from MGYB, and they were built out, the tier 1 branded, the ad ID, the Drive-Stack and Gsite. You can go and search and start breaking it down, and you're going to see it all there. I worked on the entity just like I recommend. Everything is there. Guys, we don't do anything different than what we give you. This is why it's ridiculous. If you guys want and go and try other things, you want to change it up, and you don't want this to happen, you don't want that to happen. You want to see results. This is how we do it. Exactly how we're showing you. The SEO Power Shield, which seems like it's something new. It isn't. It's simply bringing all of these different things, these pieces that we've been mentioning. The syndication network, which I would never do anything without. The ad ID now, and the Drive-Stack, guys, it's my training. It's my original. August of 2015, it was released. It's working better today than it was when it was released. And so why wouldn't I use my own training, my own methods,
Right.
Methods that I use then to train VAs that are now in MGYB and working for us? Why wouldn't I do it? Why would I go and try something else? I do as tests, right, to see whether what other people say is true, whether it's working, how it works. And I just find that my stuff done the way that I do it, it works, and it works like crazy. It works. I mean, I can't say how well it works. You're seeing Bradley get results. You're seeing me get results. Rob talks about the results that he gets. And if you're in our mastermind, you know what results our mastermind members are getting. And so I don't know what else to tell you other than this thing that we call the SEO Shield is what we use not only to protect ourselves from Google, but also to enhance our entity and to enhance our footprint and to tell Google, look, this is me, this is who I am. And all of these things are also extensions of my brand. And what's happening right now in search engines is that brands are getting rewarded.
Yeah.
So if you're not doing entity-based SEO, you're already in trouble. So even before you start, you're in trouble.
I agree with that. And I just want to show, like, for example, this is, you know, I because of the 2X Your Agency training, I actually wasn't doing a lot of marketing for prospecting for tree service clients for my own agency because I've been really focused a lot on the last several months on my real estate business. However, some of the marketing that I had put, you know, content that I produced 2 years ago, for whatever reason, is producing a lot of inbound leads for my agency. So tree service contractors contacting me over the last couple of months, asking me to quote them, you know, for service, SEO services and lead generation and such. And so as part of the 2X Your Agency training, I said, you know, well, it's silly for me to be doing this training and not also adding to my own agency marketing and stuff to bring clients in, which I wasn't originally planning on growing my agency, but I feel hypocritical not actively trying to grow my agency throughout the 2X Your Agency training. So why not? I'm going to grow my agency. So just a couple little things that I've been doing recently to get better results. And so, for example, tree service SEO, I haven't even done any SEO to this except for one press release. And I had a page on my site right here that for the last 2 or 3 years, or however long, it might show what the publishing date was. Okay, so for the last year, it was when I published this page, this post. And guys, look, it's so awful. I haven't my website's a one-page website. And anyways, I haven't added any images to this. Haven't done any outbound linking or any internal linking. It's a one-page website. There's nothing to link to but the home page. But all I did was I had an article written. I didn't write this. I had it written. And there was this post was nothing other than this infographic for the last year until last week when I had this article written, and I just went in and published this article. It's about 1,500 words about SEO, and that's for tree service. It's optimized for tree service SEO. And that was it. And I haven't done anything to this page. There's no theme mirroring. This has not been built into, by the way, I don't even have a theme mirrored Gstacks and Gsite because there is no content. There's no silo structure to my agency website. It's a single page other than this post. It's literally a single page website. There's no content. There's no silos. There's none of that. The Gstacks that has been ranking since May of 2015. So going on 5 years, the SEO Virginia SEO, SEO Agency Virginia, it's producing #1 maps ranking for local IPs, #1 Google site ranking. And if I open that up, it's interesting, but when taking a look at my Gstacks, because I built this from scratch when I was first turned on to the RYS Academy methods by Marco, and I only built one set of files. That's it. Like I was just in the account, the Google account, where the owner account for this Gstacks that I built, which was under a different Gmail account for whatever reason. And I was just in there over the weekend. And all I've got, guys, are the files that are embedded right here. That's it. There is nothing else to this Gstacks. And it's got me ranked #1 for SEO Virginia, Virginia SEO, SEO Agency Virginia, blah, 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 for 5 years, over and above all the other SEO agencies in the state of Virginia. and it's just a matter of like 6 Gstacks files. That's it. There's no folders. There's no silo structure. My point in telling you all of this is because imagine, and again, this page, this one page here, which was nothing other than an infographic for the last year. All I did was add content to it, which hasn't even been optimized. Like I haven't gone through and finished optimizing the content, adding images and alt tags, all of that stuff. And look at this, guys. Out of all the tree service SEO agencies out there who are paying for ads and everything else, I'm on page 1, position 7? With no SEO work, just one press release. So you can imagine if I go in and theme mirror that page onto this Gsite, build some Gstacks files, a folder around tree service SEO and files that are all pointing to that page, run a few links to it, guys, there's no question I should be able to pop to the #1 position for that keyword, right? So anyways, I'm just showing, we don't just tell you to do things because we tell you to do them. We practice what we preach and it works. So, okay. Any comments on that before I try to answer a few more of these? Anybody?
Nope.
Lawrence says it can't be that easy with all the different SEO tactics out there. Okay. You're right. It doesn't work, Lawrence. You're right. It doesn't work, Lawrence.
Yeah. We're showing you it works, but you're right. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. It can't be that easy. Okay. No. Well, I mean, if you want to make overcomplicate it, that's fine. Continue overcomplicating. But, it is that easy. It's just a matter of how much you push into the entity. That's how you overcome competition right now.
All right. So I understand it. No, I see you, Lawrence, and I hear you. No, it's not easy. It's simple. We keep it simple.
Correct. Yeah.
We keep it simple.
Yeah.
We've developed a method that has withstood the test of time and every single update that has been thrown at the SEO world for the past 5+ years. So no, it can't be that easy. It isn't. Easy, it doesn't involve effort or work. It's just easy. Simple is different because we focus on web principles that everyone has to follow, including Google. So focusing on those and focusing on the math is what allows us to simplify our tactics to the point where we can get results this way. So easy and simple are different in this case.
So one thing, and then I know we can answer this number 4 right here. So I just want to say one more thing about this. So in the mastermind, guys, I have a couple of projects that I'm starting. I got a mastermind webinar tomorrow. The format has changed. We don't talk about that enough at the beginning of Hump Day Hangouts, guys. We need to do that in the coming weeks. we recently changed the format to where each one of us now is producing our own mastermind webinar. So if you're in the mastermind, that's an enormous amount of value, because before it was mainly Marco and I doing the webinars every 2 weeks. We would do a mastermind webinar, which would often go 2.5, sometimes even 3 hours. But it was heavily SEO based, and it was mostly Marco and I doing the training and answering questions. But we've changed it since the 2X Your Agency stuff. Now all of us have different skills. Semantic Mastery Mastermind partners, right? My partners, we all have different sets of skills. They all overlap for sure. We all have different sets of skills. We want to be able to provide you guys with as much actionable information as possible. So each one of us now are hosting our own separate webinars. So you can come and plug into the ones that are the most relevant to you and your business at any given time, or plug into all of them if you want. So one of the things that I'm going to be covering, and I'm going to announce this tomorrow, kind of like reveal the plan and everything, is I've got a whole new tree service project that I'm starting. And part of the agreement I made with the contractor just this week, in fact, was that I could use his project as a case study within to teach with, as a training opportunity. And he agreed, and I'm giving him a substantial discount on my normal fees for a tree service contractor to be able to use this. So I'm going to be taking this exact thing that we're talking about, right? So SEO, create the entity, build the SEO shield, start the content marketing, link building and embeds through MGYB, and driving relevant traffic into the entity using Google Ads, very inexpensive display and or YouTube ads. That's it. That's the process. That's it. And we're going to take that project and I'm going to make it a case study that I'm going to be sharing in the mastermind over the next month or a couple of months while I'm building it out for service area business with a wide service area to show how we can absolutely get results, no questions asked, by just doing exactly what we talk about in 2X Your Agency, here and everywhere that you guys can hear us, right? Which is that simple. It's not easy. There's a lot of work involved, but the easiest way to make it, the way to make it easy is don't do the damn work. Just buy the components, manage the project, buy the components, stack them or put them in the, build them in the order that we tell you to do. And then just power them up and then produce good content. That's a big part of it. That's it. You do that and there's no question you will get results. So, all right, we got about 3 minutes. I'm going to roll through these last couple real quick. He says, what is the use of the multiple tier 1 rings? We don't recommend multiple tier 1 rings except and only for YouTube channels. Okay. And I've said that a million times. I can't assume that you've been to all of them, but yeah, one tier 1 ring for a blog syndication only, branded tier 1 ring. That's it. Now you can use multiple tiers, right? So you can use 2-tiered networks or 3-tiered networks, whatever. We will build 2-tier networks for you at MGYB. But as we've said, and again, you can go to our YouTube channel and find this. You can go to support.semanticmastery.com and look at our knowledge base under Syndication Academy, and it'll talk. There's several frequently asked questions there where I specifically go into detail as to why, if you're going to use 2-tier or multi-tiered networks for blog syndication, how to set it up correctly, which is to inject third relevant related RSS feeds into the second tier. Okay. And again, just go to support.semanticmastery.com, Syndication Academy, knowledge base articles, and there's several lessons in there about that. But so yeah, so only one branded syndication ring, tier 1 syndication ring for blogs. If you want to use multi-tier networks, you can, but you have to be aware of how to set that up correctly, which again, I just pointed you to the resources for that. Also, if there could be more tier 1 rings, what should they be? Personas? No, they wouldn't be tier 1 rings for blog syndication. If you want to use multiple rings, again, they should be second tier and beyond, and they should be persona based or topical based, like theme based, but not branded. Does that make sense? Also, should you do multiple tier 1 on YouTube channel only, or is it allowed for websites? No. For YouTube channels, you can stack as many tier 1 networks as you want. They could be branded. Well, you should only have one branded ring, period. But the rest of them can be persona based, theme based, whatever you want. It's fine. For YouTube, it's no issue. It's only for blog syndication. I think we're about done. How much money will be needed for a complete project like that? How much do you charge? I'm not sure what you're asking, who you're asking about charging, but for a complete project, again, you guys, you can just go to MGYB and price it out, right? So like an SEO Power Shield, go look at the pricing. That's component number one, right? Then component number two would be, you know, content marketing and such, which I pay VAs to do that. But component number three would be the link building and embed gigs, and determine what size link building or embed package you need is going to depend on the competition. Competition is going to dictate the volume of links needed and the frequency with which you need to do them, build them. Does that make sense? So you can kind of go through and just kind of price it out that way. And, you know, I recommend 100% markup at the minimum for charging clients. So if you go to MGYB and kind of just map out what your costs are going to be and then mark it up 100% minimum, that's what you should charge your clients for setup. And if, like, for example, for ongoing monthly link building gigs, if you know a medium competition package is going to be what you need for your particular industry, might not be. What I found for a lot of my projects is I go heavy up front when I start the project with link building and embeds. Once I achieve the desired results, then I typically cycle through the low competition link building and embed gig packages, but they repeat, like, in other words, they recur on monthly basis, and that's just to maintain. But it may be different for your niche. I can't tell you what to how to develop out your plan. You need to do that depending on your particular market, keywords, competition level, that kind of thing. Okay. All right. Anybody want to comment on that? I'm about to wrap it up.
No, it just, I mean, it's all set up at MGYB. Everything is there. SEO Shield is there. That's what you need to get started.
That's it. Go join 2X Your Agency. Go through the 2X Your Results training. We're in week 3 of 4 for that. Next week will be the last week of that. And then we're going to get into 2X Your Business, which is going to be about how to scale your operations and grow. So we'll see some of you in Mastermind tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Thanks.
Bye, everyone.